It is Tuesday, September the 15th. I am your host, Casey Phoenix, and this is my daily thought. For those of you who may be new to the show, my daily thought is a supplement to Keeping It Real with KC, which is a weekend show. So, oh goodness, where to start at? It's still smoky in Los Angeles. I actually, before I logged in, well, I guess not logged in, before I started recording, I was online looking for air filters. Not that the smoke is making it inside the building, because I can't really smell it, but just to have an air filter to err on the side of caution and do that due to all of the other sinus issues I've been having anyways. So this has been the thing that sort of like pushes me right over the edge to go ahead and make the jump to get an air filter, because I haven't had an air filter actually, I think, ever, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, and also if you're new to the show, usually I start talking and then I work my way into what the daily thought is about. Nothing else groundbreaking has really been happening today that I can think of. I ate a ridiculous amount of food last night. I had pasta for the first time in probably about 5 or 6 months. I finally had pasta. And I tried out these noodles. They're made out of, what are those things called? It's what makes hummus. It's the beans. Oh gosh. Is it garbanzo beans or whatever it is? The name is not coming to me. But the pasta was made out of the beans that are used to make hummus. And it was interesting. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great. So, yeah. And the sauce that I used was this new sauce, and it was bland. So it didn't taste bad. It didn't have a lot of flavor. It was bland was sort of what I wanted to. And then I used bison meat or buffalo meat for the meat in the pasta, which that was good. If you haven't had bison meat before, try it sometime. It's actually leaner than ground beef and more healthier for you too. And if I'm not mistaken, it has more iron as well, but you can look that up and double check me on that, but I'm pretty sure it has more iron in it. But I know it's leaner for a fact. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and go into this. Boring isn't a bad thing. Now, obviously, caveat, as I always do, a few days ago, I did an episode, There is More to Life, on my daily thought. And that was talking about being curious and just seeing what's out there. I always talk about balance. I'm not saying that doing basically one extreme or the other, I personally don't recommend it. You're grown, we're all individuals. You can do what you want to do. I don't recommend extremes when it comes to those things. Whether it comes to being boring or whether it comes to being curious about things in life, I'm not recommending an extreme on either one. As for being boring, I'm saying it's okay to be boring sometimes. I know when people would ask me to go places, I'm like, I'm fine being at home, watching the Golden Girls or just chilling and doing that. Or when I go out, I don't drink alcohol. So I some people would consider me the boring one. And the screen is really, I'm gonna have to change this because it's messing with my recording is right near my TV. And the lighting was messing with the recording. But anyways, for those who are listening, you're probably like, okay, well, that doesn't matter. On to the next thing. But for those who may be watching, yeah, I fixed it now. So back to this. So I don't drink alcohol. So when I go out with people, some people may consider me boring because I don't do that. And that's okay. Alcohol isn't my thing. I lost a taste for alcohol years ago. I really did. I actually, what year was that? We're in 2020. And I think I told you guys the story during one of my episodes because it happened on my birthday. So 2015, 2014, 2013. So it had to be 2000, I'm pretty sure it was 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And I was celebrating my birthday at Soya Luna, which is this bar on Ventura. For those of you who are if I can talk, for those of you who are familiar with Los Angeles, you know Ventura Boulevard. Okay, in the valley. All right, Soya Luna. That was the night. Actually, Bobby Brown was there that night. Go figure. And he was really cool, by the way, too. The only reason I went was because the job I worked at the time, it just so happens the girl who was the secretary there, her birthday was the same day as mine. And we both found out. I wasn't planning on going out for my birthday because usually on my birthday, I just relax, I stay at home, I keep to myself, and that's sort of that. But she wanted to go out and she was asking me to do it. And she's like, our birthdays are the same day and da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And I was like, well, since I'm going out, I'll try a margarita for the first time because I had heard of a margarita, but I had never had a margarita. So I didn't have my first margarita until, if the year is correct, 2013. So we're in 2020, until 7 years ago. So 7 from 41 is 24. So not 24, 34. So 34, I didn't have my first margarita until 34 years old. If I'm correct on the year. All right. Also, which the margarita it was okay. But also that night, no, later following in the coming months, that's what it was. Okay. In the following coming months, I had not had to go out, but I received the offer to go out during the holidays with some of my coworkers. And we went to this steakhouse in Woodland Hills. I forgot the name of it. I think it was Flamingos or something that starts with an F. It's over on Topanga. So, yeah, we went to that steakhouse and I had an apple martini for the first time. I didn't like it. The taste, I just didn't have a taste for it. And then from that point on, I just didn't have a taste for alcohol, period, anymore. So I haven't had any alcoholic beverage in 7 years or whatever, give or take. Because I just don't have a taste for it. So when I go out with people, if I go out, which is rare because I'm a homebody, I'm the boring one. And that's fine. You know, for those who like to go out a lot, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you know what? I feel like I got some sleep in my eye, because it does that during the day. For those who are watching, those who are listening, you're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? But those who are watching, I'm wiping my eye with my nail. But for people who usually go out regularly, it's okay sometimes to just stay home. It I know some people who are social butterflies, like they have to be on the go. They have to be places. They have to go out and get drinks, or go out and do this, or go out and do that. They can't sit still for 10 minutes. It's okay to be boring. It's not a bad thing. It's not bad to be boring. Being boring is not a bad thing. Sometimes when you're just still, and I'm not talking about meditation still either. I'm drinking lemon water. For those who are watching, because you can tell it's not clear, I usually get the bottled water, and then I'll get some lemon juice and pour it in and do it that way. I just put like just a little bit in there and do that. But I'm not talking about when you sit still, I'm not talking about necessarily meditating. Even though meditating is good, meditating doesn't always work for me, because it's hard for me to still my mind, because it's always going and going and going. I'm just talking about enjoying solitude, maybe, or enjoying your own company. Usually the moments when, okay, universe, I need the words here. Help me articulate this correctly. Usually the moments that are the best and often overlooked and underappreciated are the moments we have to ourselves, and where we have only our own company. Those moments when we have our own company, some may say that's boring, or you yourself may be like, oh, I'm home alone, I'm so bored, da 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 da. But being boring isn't a bad thing. Enjoying time to yourself isn't a bad thing. Switching gears, switching from fifth gear to second gear, which I don't recommend doing that if you're driving fast, literally. But in life, switching from fifth gear to second gear, it isn't necessarily a bad thing. You can always go back to third, fourth, or fifth gear and do that in life. If you're constantly going, you may not be able to appreciate those boring moments. And I believe the time comes where you want some boring moments. I know there are people out there who are just like, oh, please let things slow down. Oh, please give me a moment to myself. Oh, please let the kids not want to go to Chuck E. Cheese today. Oh, please let me not have to go to the grocery store. And everything else that just moves so fast during life, especially when you're on autopilot, which I mentioned before. Just being on autopilot, doing, and stuff. You should welcome boring moments. And when it comes to all things in life. Whether it's talking to people, whether it's in the bedroom, because some people are, some people are very vanilla. Some people are way out there. But for the vanilla people, being boring isn't a bad thing. Not everybody wants cat suits, chains, and whips, and 50 Shades of Grey type stuff. And not judging those who do, because this area, anything that I'm involved in, is always a no judgment zone. Always remember that. I don't judge you. I may have an opinion, but I don't judge you. I don't judge anyone. But yeah, being boring isn't a bad thing. But again, when it comes to extremes, I don't recommend being boring all the time. Now, I'm not saying if you're someone like me who just doesn't have a taste for alcohol, don't go out and decide to take a sip just because you haven't had a sip in 7 years. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is there's other ways you may be able to participate in the festivities outside of the alcohol part that might liven up the party. And you can bring your own style to do that, because usually people drink to liven things up, or to pass the time, or to make the company of certain other people more tolerable. So take from that what you want. And so I'm not saying go out and get drunk or do this or do that. What I am saying is it's okay. Being boring is not a bad thing. And if you want to step out of your comfort zone, you can find a way to do that too. So yeah, that's all I got. I don't have too much today. And my nose is so stuffy, but that's okay. I got my lemon water. And we are doing good. I'm about to make me some burgers tonight because I have some buffalo meat left over, which that's another thing too. If you use buffalo meat, if you get the ground buffalo meat, you got to cook it in 24 hours after you open it. If you don't freeze it, you got to cook it in 24 hours. Either it'll go bad because it's very, very sensitive. It's very sensitive. Buffalo meat is. So just so you know, and also you can't cook it on high like you can ground beef, because since buffalo meat is leaner, you have to cook it on a lower heat so it doesn't get really, really tough and it doesn't lose its flavor. Just side note. But yeah, I have to go and make my buffalo meat burgers and get other stuff ready for the day and watch some anime, because that is how I unwind from the day when I eat. I watch my anime, and then I'm pretty much back in the bed. Then I wake up in the morning, I record for my other channel, and then I work, and then I record for this channel, and then it's rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat is what I do. Thank you to everyone who have been supporting Keeping It Real with KC. I really appreciate it. KIRWKC.com, main podcasting platform. KIRWKC on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.com/KIRWKC. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button followed by the notification bell. If you're watching on Daily Motion, you can click the subscribe button. Doing those things will let you know when I upload new videos. As for this weekend coming, I'm leaning more towards entertainment news begrudgingly for the show this weekend. I'm thinking about talking about Cardi B, maybe, and my thoughts on that situation. And possibly a few other things. It's not etched in stone yet, but that's what I'm thinking about doing. But anyways, let me get going because I'm rambling now. I love each and every one of you who have been supporting. I appreciate it more than you know. Until next time, be blessed.